for Dean from a Nokia perspective.
Just a quick question of the hardware. I used to have a Nokia phone, my dad did too. And I think the general stereotype, the general stereotype about Nokia phones is that they're indestructible.
Yep.
How much effort do you put into getting that type of durability?
A ton. In fact, again, we've watched the world change in front of us. Again, kind of referencing what I said earlier, but we've never changed some of those kind of founding elements. I believe the reason that Nokia became the #1 handset maker on earth, and interestingly, if I didn't mention it before, we still are the #1 mobile handset maker in the world. And that kind of quality of design, ruggedness, is something that we've started and never stopped. It's built into our manufacturing and testing process. We have this whole philosophy that goes very deep in terms of manufacturing efficiency and rooting out defects in quality. And we retain all of that to this day, even in the face of very difficult competition.
What mobile providers is it available?
So in the United States, so we have partners around the world. Oh yes. So the question was, what carriers is our products on? So for the United States, right now today, we have Nokia Windows Phone products on T-Mobile and AT&T. But look for more information in the future. And then around the world, we have a wide variety of partners, and we're constantly adding to that list.
Do you think that's the biggest obstacle to domestic adoption?
It has been one of Nokia's challenges in the past, but I think, again, in kind of many strategic moves, part of it being a partnership with Microsoft, I am incredibly confident about our chances right now with our Windows Phone products, because when we approach carriers now in the United States, we actually come in with Microsoft together. And actually carriers, while again we've had our challenges in the United States, they understand Nokia's reputation for quality products, and so they are absolutely willing to talk with us. And again, AT&T is actually, I believe, the largest carrier in terms of subscribers in the United States right now.
I just had a question about sort of the strategy you're trying to implement to gain that larger market share. And then I think a lot of Apple's success has been attributed to, their physical stores and sort of the
yes.
The unique shopping experience that provides, as compared to any other phone manufacturer where you have to go to like an AT&T store or something.
Yes.
To do that. Do you have any plans to create Nokia retail stores or somehow market them in a physical location outside of just like carrier branded stores?
That's a great question. So the question was about whether we are selling our products exclusively through carrier stores or do we have our own plans for retail. And again, honestly, we actually had a handful of Nokia retail stores in the United States a few years ago. We had one in New York City on Fifth Avenue. We had one in Chicago. And we closed those in the challenging times that we have. And for the current situation in the United States, we are focusing very strategically on carrier phone stores. But again, we've done some very interesting things, and in my personal opinion, very effective things. We have armed, for example, the vast majority of AT&T phone store staff with their personal Lumia 900 device for free, so that is the device that they use every day, that they're very comfortable with, that they're very willing and able to promote the device to customers. And again, we have an incredible amount of research. We've been doing this a long time, and we know, in fact, I believe the statistic is that 80% of the people who walk into a carrier phone store have not yet made up their mind about what phone they'll be purchasing. So they rely extremely heavily on what the phone store staff recommends or suggests to them. And that's one of the reasons we made this move with AT&T staff. However, to again get back to your question, The Lumia products are available in Best Buy and other retail locations that are non-carrier specific, but we are focused on the carrier stores for the main thrust of this effort.
So you showed on, I think it was like home screen, all these things constantly updating.
Yes.
How long does the battery last?
Yeah, we get that question all the time. The question is, how long does the battery last with all of these updated tiles? And I think people kind of in the know about technology, that's one of the first things they wonder about. And I don't have the specific stats on battery life, but I can tell you that it's quite comparable to other smartphones and how long they last, not just Windows phones, but all platform phones. And I think the best way to kind of convey how we do is to ask you to read the reviews. Again, we've been reviewed in every major news source, from the New York Times, the Boston Globe, CNET, Engadget, on and on and on. They've all had hands-on reviews, and they all talk about battery life, and none of them, talk about that as a problem, even with this kind of amazing and new live tile technology of Microsoft's.
Can you talk a little bit about what features, or if anything, you've taken from the Symbian kind of like the stuff you had before, and how that translates into Windows?
That's a great question. The question is, Symbian was our smartphone operating system before our partnership with Microsoft. It still exists today, but we don't focus at all on Symbian in the United States, but it is still used globally. We still sell phones using the Symbian operating system. And I think, to answer your question, what we really leveraged is just basically our deep research and our experience in Symbian. We did not so much leverage specific technology from the Symbian operating system, but I can tell you, and then this is the research for another time for you folks to go in that Symbian was actually in many ways more powerful than iOS currently is now. And it was at the time that the first iPhone was launched, including multitasking in terms of the imaging technology on smartphones, and on and on and on. But we just took the experience with that operating system and applied it to the Windows Phone. Shall we move on?
Okay. All right. Thanks again, Dean. Really appreciate it. I do want to show you some of the dev tools, but also kind of show you some of the favorite features that I use that might be applicable to you while Glenn gets his presentation started. For example, so at least this is my phone. This is the Nokia 900, Lumia 900. I just got married like 2 months ago, so that's why I have a picture of... Thank you. I'll show this to my wife, the recorded video, so she knows that I actually talk about her in a good way. Okay. This is my home screen, but some of the things that are really interesting to me is, I like to watch movies, right? So, if I want to see what movies are playing locally, I just click on movies after I do a search. It's not showing the thing I want to do. But what's really interesting, though, is it suggests some of the apps that you can use to download and find out what your movies are. So, for example, movies, and if you click on that, you can see IMDb, all these other things. One of the things, too, that I used to have an iPhone, but that I really appreciate here is, a lot of my friends, I kind of group them, I text message them in groups, but I also like to see a location where all of them are stored. So, for example, I have I'm from New York. Anyone from New York? Long Island? Represent? All right, cool. So if I go to New York friends, what's interesting, I have a group of 8 friends that are from New York, and it gives me their status updates if they updated recently. So I know Melissa just got back from Italy. Let's see if she has a status update. If not, I'll kind of show you what you can do. But, for example, there's a text everyone. There's a send email to everyone. So if I click on text, it automatically texts everyone in that specific group. I'm going to go back. What's new? So, how many of you have Facebook, and if you want to find out what their status is, you have to open up Facebook, see what the status is for that individual person, right? Here, it takes all my friends in that New York group and actually streams all the Facebook content and information that are relevant only, again, to those friends. So, what's new? This actually streams all the information. So, for example, this was updated on Saturday, some 20 hours ago, 17 hours ago. So it can keep track. I don't have to open up Facebook, then I don't have to open up, what their status update is, right? Here, I have a pictures tile as well. So if for all my friends, New York friends, it actually shows and updates all their pictures. And these even show the pictures that I am included in. So if I want to creep on my friends or whatever, right, and I click on New York friends, it